What's up, everybody? So, for those of you that follow me, after this whole Zelensky thing went down, Zelensky wasn't making sense, and I just couldn't help myself. I had to start doing some digging into Ukraine. And what's interesting is there's a date that comes up that's really interesting. And the really interesting date is there's two dates in 2022. And this is why they're interesting. In 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, right? But there's been issues going on consistently. But in 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. And what I found out was Zelensky, in a quote-unquote fair election, which means something was wrong with the election, because they're claiming that it was free and fair and whatever, Zelensky passed a bill banning the Greek Orthodox Church. Now, this is why this is important. And if I were you, I would take this video down, or I would download it and I would share it, because they are probably going to shut off my account for this one. The Greek Orthodox Church is the Russian church, the Russian American church that was the west coast of the United States all the way back to 1828 when James Monroe issued the Monroe Doctrine. If you look at the end of the Monroe Doctrine, it banned England, but it also banned Russia, requiring all of the ships to go through India or Indian ports, East Indian ports, before they could come to America, and they were no longer allowed to use American ports. But the Greek Orthodox Church was the West Coast, and that was the Russian American Corporation. And Zelensky passed a law banning the Greek Orthodox Church. Now, they call it the Russian Church. It's not the Russian Church. It is the Church of Jesus Christ that split when the Vatican, the Western Rite, and the East Rite split in 1176. The East Rite moved across Asia under the monarchy, the Asian monarchy, which was the Russian monarchy. And the Western Rite remained in Rome, and that's the Pope. The head of the Greek Orthodox Church is called the Metropolitan. And they are more of a philosophically aligned religious entity. Now, here's what's interesting about the United States. The Greek Orthodox Church, what they're calling the Russian Church, it's not Russian, it's Greek. The Greek Orthodox Church does not recognize the ambassador or the Secretary of State for the United States. Where the Vatican is under the United States, the Greek Orthodox Church only recognizes the consular for the United States. The consular for the United States is the representative at the Organization of American States for the International Human Rights and Arbitration and the International American Court. Okay? That is the representative that the Greek Orthodox Church recognizes. They will not talk to the United States. They only talk to the representatives of the United States for the United States of America. They do not recognize any religious involvement of the United States. So they do not talk to 501c3 churches. They hold a philosophical doctrine of the New Testament. And this all happened in 1176. Ultimately, what happened was in 1620, the Greek Orthodox Church split again. And when they split into the Amish. So the Amish are actually derived from the Greek Orthodox Church 500 years after the original, or 450 years after the original split. Zelensky and Ukraine government passed a law against Greek Orthodox Christians that they are not allowed to practice. They are basically, Greek Orthodox Christians are being persecuted in Ukraine. And that started in 2022. Which was why when Tucker Carlson met with Putin, Putin was talking about all this history, about the Ukrainian people, and about how 72% of Ukrainian people are actually Greek Orthodox Christians. I would, like I said, I'd save this, but what's really going on in Ukraine is the European Union and NATO are trying to destroy the Greek Orthodoxy because they are the only non-corporate, incorporated religious political body left. Pretty much they've held their line. That's why. That's what this is about. It is about fundamental Christian persecution and persecution of the Christian ideology as it's practiced through the Greek Orthodox Church. And believe it or not, I actually, knowing what I know about the different types of religions and stuff, I mean, I recognize all of them because I'm educating all of them, even like the Egyptian culture. But in its purest form, the Greek Orthodox Church is probably the most fundamentally sound form of organized religion based on the New Testament, which is fascinating. So, please share. God bless. Godspeed.